Well, good morning. It's 8:13 and 51 degrees in downtown Galesburg. Galesburg's Morning News. Tyler Gum, Jay Redfern, Cameron Line. And, coming up tomorrow, Saturday, the 8th, our stations, WGIL, FM 95, KFM, The Laser, Z106.1. We're teaming up with UPS and community volunteers for the first of two big community food drives. We'll be outside of both Hy-Vee stores and the Walmart Supercenter here in Galesburg from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow, collecting non-perishable items for the Fish Food Pantry in Galesburg. In Monmouth, we're going to be at Fairway for the First Christian Church Food Pantry. So, of course, every can counts. So, joining us in studio to preview the drive, talk about the growing need in Knox County, Katherine Seguino. She's the Executive Director of the Fish Food Pantry here in Galesburg. So, of course, Katherine, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today. I appreciate it.
Dropped the bombshell on her that we're taking video.
Yeah, didn't quite expect that, but that's all right.
You're not the first woman to give me a side eye, so. What do you say? Where should we start, Jay? How about big picture?
Yeah, big picture. Fish has been feeding Knox County since 1970, 55 years, and you're now serving, you told me yesterday, like 900 families and 2,200 individuals. Is that, what time period is that over?
That stock that is per month.
Per month, okay.
Per month, yeah.
So that's, and you were telling me that's up like 20 to 30% in the last couple months. What's driving that surge?
Well, I think a lot of it's the uncertainty with some of the benefits that are going on right now, and also there's just changes in the economics in general, different employment issues and things like that. So I think there's a lot of people who just need help right now, and I'm glad that we were able to do that. Mm-hmm.
A lot of listeners may not know the difference between a food pantry and a food bank. Can you break that down for us?
Sure, yeah. A food bank actually is the kind of the bigger umbrella who sources all the food and tries to get better deals and buy it in bulk and be able to warehouse it in large quantities. They do a lot of background work, trying to work with different companies and trying to get the best prices for the food. And then the pantries purchase the food from the banks. So it's a great combination. We're really fortunate to be right next door to River Bend, which is our food bank, obviously. But we're two separate entities. It's even though we're in the same building, but we are really blessed to be able to have them as our go-to. Mm-hmm.
Fish is a client choice pantry, which means the guests actually get to shop for what their families will eat. How does that work?
Well, we obviously stock our shelves best as we can, and then as guests or clients would come through at each sort of station or each different product, they can have a choice of if they would like to take it or not. Because we need to, we have to budget, and we have to pay ahead of time. We do have to have limits on how much they take of any individual item, but we don't pre-box anything for them. It's all, item by item. They get to choose whether or not that works for their family. And we do have some places along the way that we have what I'd call miscellaneous items, so they can kind of choose from a variety of things that don't fit a specific category. So, I don't know. Sometimes someone will give us a unique item, and that doesn't really fit, like where we have green beans, so we'll put it in miscellaneous.
Cash donations sometimes go further than cans, at least as far as fish. Walk us through how fish stretches a dollar. What's your buying power?
Yeah, definitely cash is king in terms of being able to, again, going back to we have 900 families coming through, so we want to make sure that within a month that we're able to provide that choice of whatever that item is for every single family that comes. And so if we're able to purchase from River Bend, it's about 19 cents per pound of food. So significantly lower than being able to purchase at any, retail store. So that allows us, for every dollar per se, is about 5 times more that we can purchase from the food bank than we can another retail store. So that's amazing. And so that means that we can purchase enough, at least as what we can forecast, for how many people should be going through. So that means that whether someone comes in at the beginning of the month or the end of the month, we should still be able to have that item available for them. So that's where that buying power is. So that gives us the ability also to make sure everyone has equal and equitable choices. Having a bunch of random items is great too, because it adds for variety, but no guarantee that someone who comes in first week will have that same choice later on. So that's why we like to have that baseline of everything available for
Yeah.
everyone.
And you were telling me yesterday, you just can't go. I mean, it's easy, you would think, if you're out of something, you just can't go to a grocery store and get it because it just doesn't make sense, right?
It doesn't really make sense. I mean, sometimes I know in the past when we were a lot smaller and we were located at Hawthorne, where maybe we had a smaller amount of clientele, you could, fill in the gaps of just running to the store. But now that we have so many people coming through, and it just doesn't financially, it doesn't make sense to use that money anywhere else other than the food bank right now. Yeah.
Tomorrow, as we mentioned, our food drive, we're trying to fill 4 big UPS trucks. What are some of the top items that Fish is running lowest on, maybe, or what's in need?
Yeah, cereal is always a big thing. We like to try to have things that I consider to be staples. So oatmeal, rice, dried potatoes, those types of things. Soup is always wonderful. Canned vegetables, interestingly enough, are tough for us to get a variety of canned vegetables. So it's nice to get some of the ones that we can't personally purchase right now. That doesn't mean ever, but peas and different types of like carrots. And there's just other types of canned vegetables. Let's see. Those are the ones that we probably go through the most, but we always can use canned meats as well, like tuna and chicken and some of the other canned meats. You have to remember some of our guests are unhoused, so they need things that they can open easily. So flip tops or pull tops are great, and things that maybe are a meal in a package, if that makes sense. So they might not have. They might not have the facilities to either refrigerate or to heat food, so it's nice to have some ready-made items. I don't have anything off the top, but there are things like, I hate to say SpaghettiOs, but something like that, where it's sort of a meal that is ready-made that doesn't require a lot of prep. Mm-hmm.
Is there any kind of food that people may think, well, this is a good thing to give, but maybe isn't quite a good idea?
Yeah, there's a few things. There's people who have huge hearts and they like to give supersized items, like a huge jar of peanut butter or a huge package of, let's say, cereal, and that's really nice. It is. I understand where the heart's coming from for that, but who gets that one really big thing of peanut butter? Who gets that one? It again, coming back to being equitable and being able to give everyone something. It's a little easier if everything's the same-ish size, or what would be considered the standard size. So if we need to, we can give maybe 2 or 3 to a larger family, but still have enough, if that's not the case, to have a regular size for smaller families. Some of the other things that we really can't, we don't need per se, is that because we're not a pantry for it, is paper items or Kleenex, things like that, which is very nice to get. If we get items that we don't personally use, like infant formula and things like that, we make sure we pass it on to another shelter. We work with Loving Bottoms if we get some of the items that we can't personally use, like diapers. So it just still gets to somebody who needs it. We just don't necessarily have it on our shelves, but stuff, so if donating to us, we really truly are a food bank. So that's what we need.
The government shutdown and SNAP cuts have hit hard. How many of your guests rely on those benefits, and what happens when or if they disappear?
So I would say for the SNAP benefits, at least that's the only one we actually track in a sense, because we ask that as on their intake, do you receive SNAP, which is unfortunately sort of a silly question because they're like, I'm signed up, but I would say anywhere, I probably on average 70% of our guests have, are signed up to have SNAP benefits. So quite a few of them are looking, have assistance other places, and I'm glad that we're able to be one of those places they can get help.
So how will this impact things? The shutdown and the loss of those possibly.
Yeah, as I mentioned to you yesterday, we are having a huge influx of new guests, and those families, I think, because of some of the economic issues, are having to combine households. So we're having people who are coming in with new families or families that we've already been helping, and they're telling us now, instead of maybe having 4 in their household, now it's up to 6 or 8, or we've had up to 13 people in a household. So it's impacting a lot because we are trying to, tap dance and try to make sure everyone gets it. But for what we have been planning for is a little different. So we've been ordering much more often from the food bank to try to make sure that we have our shelves full. So the impact is huge. There's a lot more people coming in, bigger families, and some of the choices at the food bank is getting tougher to get as well, because I know they're working their tails off to try to get stuff, but it's not everything's available. And so it's a fun challenge, as one of my old bosses used to have. Not so fun, but hopefully we'll meet that challenge. Yeah.
As we mentioned, our community food drive is tomorrow, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Both Hy-Vees, Walmart here in Galesburg, Fairway, and Monmouth. And obviously, we'll take cans or all the other items you mentioned. But as we mentioned, they can still drop off cash or checks, and they'd be just as helpful, correct?
Very helpful, yes, because it gives us the opportunity to get the exact items we're looking for.
Any without getting personal, obviously, any success stories that you can share of families that have come through your facility?
Yeah, it's really awesome. We've had several people who've come in lately who have dropped off donations, both food and monetary, and said, you got me through this before and whenever, and I just want to give back. And it's heartwarming, and it's a very short interchange. We don't catch their name, we don't necessarily know, but it's just really heartwarming for that. And we have several people who now are volunteers for us that they have been either guests in the past, or they still get help, but they want to make sure that they can give back in the ways that they can. So, the outpouring of generosity in our community in Knox County has been amazing, whether it's volunteering, donating money, donating, food. It's been awesome. So as crazy it's been with people coming in for help, it's also been equally wonderful how many people have been stepping up and trying to help.
And you mentioned, does Fish pretty much solely rely on donations?
Yeah, 100%.
You don't get any funding?
We don't get any government funding at all. Yeah, so it's all based on. Yes, it is. Yeah, we have a lot of local organizations that support us, but it's not from government. So we're very, very thankful for those.
How does Fish? You kind of told us how it works, but what are your hours?
We're open every weekday. So on Mondays we're from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So we can try to get some of the people who maybe are at work, but the rest of the week we are 10 to 3.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And we'll do this food drive again after tomorrow, December 6th, and we're also going to be in Abington in addition to our Galesburg locations. Any goals as far as what you would like to see?
Fill the shelves. That's what we want to do. But we really thank you for doing this. I know you've done this for many years, and we're very grateful that you guys have. So thank you.
How about one final pitch? Why is it important for people to? I mean, you have to come to the need of your neighbors, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're all in this together, right? And I think at all times, that compassion is important, because you got to remember, sometime in life we are at all the different stages. So, try to pay it forward at some point. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how are you doing in regards to volunteers?
We can always use more. We have a wonderful staff of about 60 volunteers right now that work on a pretty regular basis, but we are always in need. Things come up, and so go ahead and call in, or if you want to drop an email to fishofgalesburg.org. Pardon me. We'll be happy to try to slot you in. Yeah, we'd love it.
Sounds great. Well,
all right.
Thanks a bunch.
Thank you. All right,
great.
you're welcome.
Look forward to filling those brown trucks with cash.
Yeah. That's right. That'll be wonderful. Thank you so much.
We'll go ahead and take a quick break. It's Galesburg Morning News.
Galesburg Veterans Day Parade.